Should our Commanders go after Jalen Ramsey? That's a question. Like, we all saw the news that came out today. Jalen Ramsey and the Dolphins are going to split ways. You know, and the first thing I thought of, I was just like, can he get us over the hump? Is he still good? Is he still worth it? So I did some research, dude, and I got nowhere. So I was like, you know what, fuck it. Let me make a quick video and talk about Jalen Ramsey. But yeah, if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. I truly appreciate it. So we got to talk about, first off, the contractual negotiations, right? Let's talk about his contract first, then we'll get to his play, and then we'll get to, you know, the overall fit and everything like that. Contractually, people don't notice, he actually just signed a 3-year, $76 million contract in September of last year. So he got a fresh new contract. Granted, it's only still 3 years. He's a guy who is 30 years old, turning 31, 6'1". He fits the mold of a Dan Quinn cornerback. He is the big cornerback that we, quote unquote, desire. You know, we got a lot of short kings in the locker room, especially in the secondary locker room. You know, Mikey Sanders still, Jonathan Jones. Jonathan Jones is a guy, I made a video about him. I'm really happy and excited about this man. But Jalen Ramsey fits the mold of that outer boundary corner where we can put him out there opposite of Marshawn Lattimore, slide Mikey Sanders still to the slot. You know, even though I made a video about Mikey Sanders, so I feel like he can still excel out in the boundary. But, you know, it just got me thinking. I was just like, he fits the mold. He's a man coverage cornerback, you know, but that contract. So contractually, let's just go into this. Contractually, I mean, the Dolphins actually, they guaranteed him a salary of $24.3 million for the upcoming season, with a salary cap that's roughly $16.6 million. Granted, if they do find a trade partner, they would clear only about $8.5 million in cap space, which is not only. That's a good chunk, you know. One thing I just found is that Miami has already paid Jalen Ramsey $4 million in the roster bonus. So that means that anybody who takes him on, it could be us, dude. I don't know, dude. Will take on $21.1 million on his contract next season. That's a big jump. We're already paying Marshawn Lattimore out the ass this year, too. Marshawn Lattimore, if I'm not mistaken, this man's making 20 plus, or damn near 20. So I'm just like, okay, you get him, you're going to have two extremely expensive cornerbacks out on the boundary. You know, granted, you do have a guy on a rookie deal who will be playing in one of your starter slots position with Mikey Sanders still. You got Quan Martin still in his rookie deal. You know, we got a very cheap, strong safety in Will Harris. Who knows if we drop to safety? You know what I mean? So I get that. The thing that gets me is this, though. Well, before I get to my take, before I get to my shit take, let's see how actually Jalen Ramsey played last year, because that's the most important thing. Because I feel like Jalen Ramsey, at this point of his career, he's kind of, and then no disrespect to this dude, 7-time Pro Bowler, he's kind of more of a name than he is of a player. Obviously, cornerback, 30, turning 31. Athletically, father age is undefeated. So, you know, but last year, his play wasn't too bad. I mean, last year, according to some stats that I saw, he played in all 17 games, which is a plus, because he's been injured the past couple of seasons. Did see a dip, though, last year, because he allowed an 83.2 passer rating when targeted in coverage and a 62.1 completion percentage. I'd expect a little bit more than that, honestly. I would. But at the same time, last season was the first time Jalen Ramsey missed a Pro Bowl since his rookie year. But granted, on the opposite end, PFF actually gave him a really good grade. They gave him a 77. That's a really good grade for a cornerback. You know, 2 interceptions last year. Ramsey's more known of like the shutdown cornerbacks. Not he does get interceptions, but he's not the playmaking dude out there. You know, but he does get interceptions, but he's more of like the shutdown man corner. But I still believe Ramsey has a couple of good years left in him. I'd say like 2 more good years left in him. I feel like he's going to bounce back, even though it looks like he had a solid season, not a great up-to-par season. Granted, the Dolphins, they were ass. So I keep roaming around, and people keep saying they're going to get a day 2 pick for him. Day 2 pick is a second rounder or a third rounder. I don't know, man. I would not give up that pick. I don't know why I say I don't know. My first instinct is hell no. I'm not giving up. Like, for what, dude? We only got 5 draft picks. I think we're gonna trade back. Hopefully we trade back and get some more picks. But it just got me thinking. I'm just like, in what scenario? And I don't want to disrespect Jalen Ramsey because he's a really good football player. Much respect to him in his longevity and his career and everything like that. If the Dolphins are forced to release him, which I don't think they would. Granted, this offseason has been a little bit weird. If the Dolphins release him, I'm in. I'm in, dude. I'm in. You have to. The Commanders should very well do their due diligence because, granted, even though I love the Jonathan Jones signing, let's be honest, Jalen Ramsey's potential and his overall cap, like his play, is much more higher at this point than Jonathan Jones. Especially Jonathan Jones, he's 5'9". We need a big body cornerback. And on top of that, if we do get Jalen Ramsey as a free agent, then like the draft, like we will need a cornerback especially for this year. Maybe for the future, but for this year, like be more of just okay. Let's focus on the edge, running back. Maybe even a guard. That's the pluses of that. And I do feel like Jalen Ramsey, if he were to come here, he would excel. If him and Marshawn Lattimore would take places. That'd be our cornerback room, dude. Jalen Ramsey, Marshawn Lattimore, and freaking Mikey Sanders still, and Jonathan Jones. That should put a smile on my face. But on top of that, we got to be realistic. We got to be realistic. I don't think they're going to release him. That's the pipe dream. Jalen Ramsey has some value, even though with that mega contract he has, with all the contractual obligations that I just stated. I feel like another thing that could possibly happen, which could get our interest, just being realistic, is if the Dolphins, we make a trade for him for a day 3 pick after we trade back multiple times. I'm assuming we're going to trade back. And the Dolphins decide, all right, you know what? Nobody wants him in his contract right now. We will eat a part of his contract. We will pay a lump sum for this upcoming year. Thus, it will lower his salary cap number and, make him more affordable. Then I can see Adam Peters being like, motherfucker, a 6th-round pick? 5th-round pick? 6th? 5th? Let me call the Eagles right now. I'm going to trade back with them. That's like, those are the only 2 scenarios where I'm just like, okay, I think they're viable, somewhat viable. I'm not going to say too strong. I mean, everywhere I go, I see the Commanders being listed as trade suitors for the Jalen Ramsey sweepstakes. But, it's a tough one. But I would definitely not give up any day 2 pick. I wouldn't even give up a 5th-round pick, to be honest with you. 6th or 7th, and, it'd probably be multiple 6th, multiple 7th. But then again, that's just me being greedy. I'm just being greedy. The Dolphins need to get their assets in return for a player of his caliber, So it does seem like a team will overpay for him, draft pick wise, for the Dolphins and meet with their. I wouldn't be surprised. Like we saw the Seahawks go crazy giving out these deals in the free agency. Like there's going to be teams out there that are desperate. I feel like Adam Peters is not going to overpay. If there's anything that we learned this offseason is that Adam Peters is not going to overpay for anybody. He meets people at their market value. And we learned that this offseason free agency. And I feel like we're going to continue learning that in Adam Peters' tenure. So, granted, my overall take on this, I feel like, of course, Dan Quinn will love him. Dan Quinn, if he becomes a free agent, I don't think he will. I think we're gonna be one of the top 3 teams interested in him. Granted, I believe last time I checked, we have $19 million in cap space, but we can move. We can renegotiate people. Motherfucker, renegotiate my contract, dude. You'll probably open up like $3 in cap space. But that's my take. Release. I think we're definitely gonna be pouncing on him. And then also, if the Dolphins decide to eat a chunk of his salary and they lower the asking price, then again, we got to trade back. We got to get assets still. We only have 5 picks. So, but at the same time, Jalen Ramsey is a dog, and he could very well take our secondary to the next level. Yeah, man. I don't know. It's a tough one. But, let me know what you guys think. So if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. I truly appreciate it. Yeah, man. Draft is next Thursday. Holy shit, dude. Crazy. Peace, y'all.